Good evening, everyone. Merry Christmas. I hope all is doing well. I have decided to come on this evening. There are a few things that I would like to go over with all of you that I feel is very important. Things that I've been seeing, noticing, picking up, feeling. And I thought it'd be a good time to come on. Also, we have a full moon in Cancer, and that will be on the 26th. This is a very important moon because it's in its own element. Its sign is Cancer. Sign Cancer is ruled by the moon. So this is really a special, especially for Cancerians. People that are born with the sun sign in Cancer, or an ascendant in Cancer, or any other placement of the major planets in Cancer are affected by this moon. It's a very emotional moon, extremely emotional. And it's an important moon. It's a Christmas moon. It is the Archangel that is affiliated with the moon is Haniel. So tonight I have her on the table. 3 cards of Haniel. And I want to address her and this moon. I also want to address something else that I'm seeing a lot of, and that is soulmates. Now, in the last reading that I did, one of the categories that came up was soulmates. It happens to be something very important to the collective. Finding your soulmate. So I thought I'd talk to you a little bit about this because I did mention to you that at times I'll come on and talk to you. I will also read. But in this respect, I'd like to address soulmates. I'm seeing an awful lot of reels talking about how do you find a soulmate, so everywhere soulmates. The best information that I can share with all of you in finding a soulmate is seeking an astrologer. Why? An astrologer studies the science of astrology. No monkey business here. This is serious study of how the planets in the solar system all works in unison in astrology. And when you see an astrologer, they not only give you your solar chart, but they then go and do your natal chart. The solar chart is finding all the placements of the 12 planets, what signs they're in, and the degree. The nadar involves math, geometry. It also involves the exact time of birth, AM, PM, the city or the town, the state, and the country. Because in the United States, they go by Greenwich time in England. So it's calculated completely different. And then it goes into the degrees and the math in it alone. There are various books that one astrologer may use to calculate and to put this on the nadar wheel that's divided into sections that have houses, signs, there's degrees, there's angles and triangles, and you look at it and say, oh my God, only an astrologer can read this. And when you sit with an astrologer and she goes over, or he goes over, everything about your natal chart, and in that is everything. Those houses represent every aspect of your life. You begin to learn about yourself. You begin to learn your character, personality, if you'll marry, if you'll divorce, how many children, if there'll be any type of court that you may go through the judicial system. There's working on self, every money, career, every health, every area of your life is in that wheel. And the degree. And sometimes when you see a triangle in the wheel, this is called a trine. Each point represents a planet, and that planet is in the same element. For instance, there's a trine in your natal chart, and those points are in the element of water. One in Pisces, one in Scorpio, and one in Cancer. Cancer. That's significant. It's very significant. That it's a trine. And sometimes there's a double trine. And if there's a double trine, that's a lot of luck in life. Now there's squares. Squares, well, squares are an obstacle. But a trine is a positive, flowing, compatible aspect. And there's sextile, semi-sextile, and it goes on and on. But the trine is the one that you want to think about. Because she will explain to you the type of person that would be compatible with you. Going by the solar chart, going by the sun, going by the moon, going by these placements, she or he will be able to tell you this type of person would make a very good friend. This type of man or woman would be a romantic partner, business partner, all kinds of relationships. This person you may have difficulty with. They're a fixed sign, and you're a fixed sign. Therefore, you may butt heads in this particular, and on and on. She or he will sit down with you and explain almost every aspect of your life. And if you want to find a soulmate, someone who is compatible with you, this is where you would start. So everybody out there looking for your soulmate, start with an astrologer. Oh, I don't have the money. They're expensive. How am I going to do it? I don't believe there's an astrologer out there that wouldn't work with you based upon your income, based upon what you can afford. If they won't work with you, go to the next. But in one's lifetime, you should at least see once or twice an astrologer. And when you start to think about the level of talking about the future, as none of us know, you have to start with the level of an astrologer, because they can tell you. Tarot, psychics, all of us that are clairvoyant, that work in different mediums, We get a pulse, we get a feeling. Yes, we can tell you what we feel with the energy, all of that. But an astrologer knows. They can see it. It is already calculated right from the second you were born. And every single one of those charts is completely different. We're all unique. So you want to start with an astrologer. Get a nice natal chart done and get to understand yourself as well as how you would get along with others in other areas. That's the first start of finding perhaps your soulmate. Going out there and saying, I'm going to manifest a soulmate, I'm going to bring her in or him in, I will pray affirmation after affirmation, I will think about it, I will see myself with this dream person, on and on and on, and you can go out of your mind trying to find, when am I going to find this person, when are they going to drop into my lap? Forget about it, they're not going to do it. Usually, when you least expect and when you're not looking is when somebody comes into your life, whether they're a soulmate or not. Soulmates are not easy to find. If you're talking about a romantic, intimate partner, then it's not easy. You'll have many soulmates, maybe, in your life. They could be friendships. They may last a long time, they may be a short time. They could be a teacher, a mentor, a child. But if you're looking for a romantic, intimate partner to spend the rest of your life with, you're talking about a soulmate. And that is not as easy as you think. Many of you may have been involved with soulmate relationships. You've known them. You've seen them. You've lived with them. But you want to find it. You want to have it for yourself. You want to meet the person that you're meant to meet. It's doable. You have to start somewhere. You have to have a foundation. And the first way you can do that is to know about yourself, about you, what makes you tick, what's going to happen in your life before you can go out and find who's compatible with you. Because I can give you an example of how it works, just a small example. The two planets that have the most sexual pull is between Mars and Venus. Why? Venus is the feminine, the love, the way you love. Mars is the masculine. It's the action. It's how you show your love. So, in a chart, your chart, say for instance, your Venus is in Aquarius, air sign. Your Mars is in Scorpio, water sign. To have Mars in Scorpio is very potent, and any astrologer out there would tell you. Mars in Scorpio, whoo, wow, that's the planet of action, and it's Scorpio. So there's a sexual tone to that, because Scorpios are sexual people. Probably the most sexual of all 12 signs. They're the most. They're sexy. Most Scorpios are very sexy. Sex is very important in their life. Therefore, this person has a Mars in Scorpio, a real drive for sex, and wanting intimacy. And they have Aquarius Venus, which is sometimes many people think of Aquarius, Venus and Aquarius as being a little standoffish. They're not warm, but they are very warm. They just love differently. So now they meet up with an individual whose Venus is in the same element. They have Gemini in Venus. And their Mars is in Scorpio. So what does an astrologer do? She looks at the two placements of Venus in each chart. They both love in the same element. Not same sign, but same element. That's a trine. Let's look at the Mars. The Mars, one is Scorpio, the other one is Scorpio, intense pole. Now let's cross them. Let's go from Venus to Mars and Mars to Venus. This person has a Aquarius in the Venus and Scorpio in Mars. That's an air versus water. Compatible? Well, maybe. If the Venus was in Pisces and the Mars was in Scorpio, that would be better. It would be better if they were in the same element. There would be a pull. There'd be a trine. And vice versa. If a person's Venus is, say, in Capricorn, Earth, and someone's Mars is in Taurus, Earth, pull, trine. So not only is it nice to have your Venuses and Mars match in the same element, but to cross a Venus to Mars and Mars to Venus, and they're both trining, you have what you call a combination for an incredible sexual, romantic, and healthy, positive relationship in that area. Now, there's many other areas, but as far as the intimacy, not a problem. So, you see, that's what you would look for. So, if you know about yourself, and you know where your Venus is, and how you love, and your Mars, and how you show it, and your desire, passion, then you know what to look for in the person that you're looking for as your soulmate. Because they have to occupy somewhat of a similarity for you to bond. It's not just about the soul. It's a lot of things. Yes, you could be souls in another world and had known each other and come back to finish something. That's a soul contract. That doesn't necessarily mean it's a soul mate. It's a soul contract. And a twin flame is not a soulmate. They're different. Okay? So, if you find someone where you're clicking and you really, really feel they're special, then see how it goes. And then when the time is right, get the information from them on their birth, their date, time, and have your astrologer, because an astrologer is like a doctor. Your astrologer you have for life. You don't see anybody else. That's your astrologer is your astrologer. That's the person you see. So you call him or her up and say, I have someone very special in my life. I'd like you to do a chart. Oh, can we work something out? Now you have a chart. His or her chart. The astrologer makes the comparisons. If you're going to have or find a soulmate, there's your verification. I've done many solar charts. I don't do a natal chart. I know how to do them, but it's a lot of math. There's many books that you need, And it's a lot of calculation, it's geometry. So I didn't really get into that much, even though I studied it. I really love doing the solar charts because you can tell even in a solar chart. Because in a solar chart, you have to know your north node and your south node. North node and south node are opposites. So whatever sign the north node is the polar opposite of the south node. In my chart, the north node is in Capricorn. Many astrologers feel that your north node is extremely important in a chart. They take that very seriously. It's the only earth I occupy in my entire chart. That one saving grace is that. The opposite is Cancer. So all of us have these placements. And they all make us who we are. So if you're looking for a soulmate, where do you start? You start with an astrologer. That's where you start. And see what happens. Then you start to evaluate when you meet different people. What makes you tick is going to be helpful as to what you're looking for out there. Ask them their sign. Don't be afraid to ask them their sign when they were born. And even though they may not be compatible right off the bat, they say, well, you know, I'm an Aries and this person's a Pisces. No. Because there's so many signs involved in that wheel in your natal chart that you cannot go just by the sun sign or your ascendant or even your moon. It makes up a whole lot of things. So that's where you start. So that's what I wanted to say tonight about soulmates, because I've seen a lot about it. It came up in my reading. It's obviously important to the collective. One of the areas is to find their mate. And it could be that we're moving into Pluto, a new era, the age of Aquarius. Aquarius is one that, well, at least me, and I have 3 placements. Aquarians are very independent, but that doesn't mean they want to be alone. Aquarians do enjoy sharing their life with people, enjoy doing things with people, enjoy their mates, put their mates first. They will take a second seat and put their mate first many times. They will love unconditionally because they are humanitarian. Therefore, the way that they love is not just for the collective. They love in the relationship. They want the relationship to work, and they'll do just about anything to make it work. But when you lose an Aquarian, because I can speak for myself and others that I know that are Aquarian, when you lose one, you've lost a pal. You lost someone so very, very special. Aquarians are special. All zodiac signs are special, but when you lose an Aquarian friendship or an Aquarian mate, you'll always remember them. They'll always be very special, no matter what. That's all I can say. So you don't want to lose one. If you get one, don't lose them. They work very hard at relationships, and they try very hard, and they can get easily hurt. So that's my take on the soulmate scene. Now, in front of me are 3 cards that are the archangel that represents this full moon in Cancer. A water sign, extremely emotional. A matter of fact, you can tell most water signs if they have a very strong water placement by their eyes. Have you ever seen people's eyes that are watery and they almost look like they're crying, but they're not? They're not crying at all. They're just very emotional. They're watery. That's a water sign with a strong placement in water, whether it's a Pisces, Cancer, or Scorpio. Scorpio eyes, seductive. I don't know of one that hasn't been very seductive eyes, very alluring eyes. And Pisces, yeah, the fish, Piscean, beautiful. Cancer, they're dynamic and they love. So all of these water signs, 3, are very important. But Cancer is the one we're going to be talking about because they're the one, they're the special ones, and they're going to go through a little bit of a hit with this because it can heighten. And all of us, we all are heightened by a full moon, but especially a Cancerian because they're ruled by the moon. So their emotions could be very high, very sensitive. So be careful with them. And whatever you do, don't say anything to them that could knock them off their, off their balance. Because be careful, because Mercury, we still are in a Mercury retrograde position. It won't leave until January 1st, and then it phases out. So be careful what you say. Say what you mean what you say. Be careful with a Cancerian, because Cancerians, whatever comes out of your mouth, they assume that that's what you mean. And in a heated argument, if you say something to them, and you really don't mean it, you just said it, oh, they'll take it to heart. They'll believe it. Knocks them right off. They become extremely quiet. So, Cancerian are very, very, very sensitive. The animal, it's not really an animal. The association is the crab. Cancerians can be moody. Not bad, depending on other signs in their chart, and it depends on how much Cancerian and the degree of it. They can be a little moody, a little bit up and down. And they'll pull out of it. You have to understand it. Leave them alone. They'll pull out of it. But they can be extremely sensitive and they can be a little moody. So this is going to be heightened during this time. So please be gentle with them. Besides having high tides and everything else that the moon has something to do with, we have an archangel that is extremely connected to the moon. And as I said, each archangel has many, many things that they do. And in the deck of cards, there are 3 cards for each archangel. And I have all 3 out here. So I'm going to read them to you, show them to you and read them to you. So you have a pretty good idea of the archangel that is up in the sky shining bright on all of you. So the first one is moon cycles. Let's see if you can see this. Can you see that? And it says moon cycles. Archangel Haniel. Notice how the moon affects your energy and manifestations and capitalize upon these cycles. Now, if you don't understand the cycles of the moon, you have to understand that the full moon is completion. And the new moon is when you start a project. Or you do something, you create something. And you usually, by the time a full moon comes, you want to be completed, done, finished, next. So it's completion. if you know how the cycle of the moon goes, especially Cancerians who are ruled by the moon, have a direct effect on these phases. So Cancerians, you should learn about the phases of the moon so you have a better understanding of yourself and your mood and how it will affect you and how you can organize your life according to these phases and have a better understanding. So this is directly with the moon. So understanding the phases of the moon. The second card is beautiful, and it says sensitivity. She's in a garden with a harp. Absolute beautiful garden. You are extra sensitive to energies and emotions right now. Honor yourself and your feelings. Okay? The third is one of my favorite illustrations of all of them. This is my favorite. There's something about it. I don't know what it is. And the thing is the illustrations that I'm most attracted to are done by men and women in the UK. Their style, their English. This one is passion. Look at this illustration, if you can see it. Look at how this angel is done. Can you see that? Look at the hair. I love it. I love everything about it. It's different, something about it. And it says, trust and follow your renewed passion in your love life and career. Okay, so these are 3 cards, all by Archangel Haniel, all representing this moon, this full moon. And these are the areas that you need to think about. Specifically Cancerians, but all of us. Your cycles of the moon, which we'd all be very good to know, and what we should know about each cycle and how we should feel and what we should do. Having sensitivity at this time, or respect it, honor it, accept it, because there will be sensitivity heightened. All of us. Some of us literally shake. Literally shake. I feel like we're shaking inside. It's just a heightened feeling. Some of us can't think. Especially with a Mercury retrograde, the mind will not work. It's just, I'm just going to watch some TV. I'm just going to lay back. I don't want to read. I don't want to do anything. I just want to be left alone, and I just want to be in peace. Because it's heavy. It can be heavy. So sensitivity to the energies and the emotions around you. And then passion. Passion is growing. Trust and follow your passion. Your love life, again with the soulmate situation, and your career. This is the end of a cycle. And this is really the end of a cycle. Not only is it the end of a cycle as a full moon, but the end of a cycle that we've all been living in for many decades under the sign of Capricorn, which is an earth sign, moving into Aquarius. Night and day. That's the real end of a cycle. And some of you are already feeling this shift as we go into this era. This is an era. And when I tell you a shift, it'd be like a jolt. I said, well, how am I going to feel this? Really? Well, it can start with it could start like a light bulb goes off in your head. a bright light. All of a sudden, something comes to you that you would never, ever think of. You say, well, how in God's name did that come in? What? I never thought of that. Oh my, that's a great idea. Or something shifts. What you thought about something isn't turning out exactly the way you thought, and all of a sudden, like the hanged man in tarot, you're getting a different perspective. You're upside down, and you're seeing it differently that you never saw it before. And it's like, my goodness, I never saw it that, oh my, and you may change your attitude about something, about a person, place, or thing. You shift your ideas, because what happens is this is anything that's in our solar system is direct energy to our brain. And every single planet has a different effect on our brain. And Pluto is a very far planet, but it's a very energetic planet. Don't think it doesn't have any bearing on us here on Earth, because it does. Every single one of us. And being in the sign of Aquarius is huge. So anybody, and you've been told 1,000 times, anybody who is an Aquarian, who occupies other placements in Aquarius, is going to be hit with this. And it's going to be positive. So be ready. Just be ready, because this is going to be wild. Wild. And all of us as a collective are going to feel this. Other air signs as well, because they're trining Aquarius. Air. Element. The same. So this is exciting. We have made it to the age of Aquarius. We are living in it. We're going to see it. Now, maybe not all of us will see the whole 20 years of it, but believe me, if we live 20 more years to see this go through, the person we are now, the people we are now, are not going to be the same. We're going to change. And everything in every area will change. And I have a lot of hope and faith that it will be a better time. It may not look like that right now, but as I said, there'll be a shift. There'll be a change of heart, a change of attitude. One may not know where it's coming from. It's for the better. Communities will come together. People will want to come together. People will want to join forces. People will want to make things happen. There'll be all kinds of things. All areas that will just boom, like electronics. Every area, inventions, better ways of energy. Things that don't serve us, say goodbye. Things that are unjust, unfair. No, Aquarians are humanitarians. They want the right thing. They go by the right way. They're a fixed sign too, as I told you before. Fixed means they're deliberate. They don't move. They're pretty. So, Aquarians, they stay pretty solid by the book. So if there's an injustice somewhere, they're not going to like it. The overall attitude is, this isn't good. Nobody should be treated this way. Hunger in the world now, in 2024, people are starving? Something's wrong. And this is what will slowly happen. So, this new era is So much fun. Just get over the Mercury retrograde, which is almost over. Do not worry about it. Don't even think about it, because it's not even worth thinking about. And think about this full moon, and think about this new era coming in January. And think about the positive. If you don't understand the sign of Aquarius, read about it. Read about the sign of Aquarius. Read about the sign of Aquarius and what an Aquarian is like. And then you'll have an idea of all the positive attributes that we brought into the world, and some of the negative. Because Aquarius ruled 2 planets, Saturn and Uranus. And Uranus is an erratic, unpredictable planet, which could cause erratic behavior, demonstrations, a revolution, a war. So it's unpredictable, so you gotta be careful. So you have to be able to balance everything out, because you don't want to go to the edge of the negativity of how the planet Uranus affects Aquarius. So I don't believe that will happen. It could. If a government is being run and people are suffering, I mean suffering, they could rise up. You may see this. You may not, but you may. Because it's not all roses and flowers and love. There'll be some times that will be difficult. But in the end, there'll be good that will come from it. That's what you have to think of long term. There'll be good that will come from it. Everything's going to be laid out on the table. No secrets. Oh, no secrets. Everything will come up surface. Be like, oh my God, I had no idea. You're gonna hear some things that'll make your hair stand straight up. Wait. Anyway, that's enough of that. I'm going to shuffle the cards, and then I'm going to draw 3 cards off the top of the deck. And these, I have no idea what this is going to be, okay? But I know they're going to be in relation to not only what we're seeing, but what we sort of need to see. What did I do here? Hold on. Okay. I just want to see if there's any flippers. No, they're all going the same way. Okay. Let me start over, okay? Hold on. I have to, just 1 second, okay? I usually do this for just a few seconds. Okay. Okay. The first card that came over the moon cycle is Archangel Jophiel, and it is the same card that I pulled when I did the last reading. Same card, same angel. Archangel Jophiel. The same one. What does that say? That's saying that this is a very important issue for the collective going forward during the holiday, New Year's, into January and on. Go outside, get some fresh air, and connect with nature to relieve stress and gain new creative ideas. This is very important. This came up before. So what does this mean? Is this saying the same thing? To go outside and enjoy nature. To go outside and find a place where you like to meditate. A place where it's quiet, where you can write, where you can read, where you can rest. A place by the water. Some place that will give you peace of mind. Because apparently, we're going through some very difficult times and unpredictable times. And this angel, who is again coming up, who's obviously working with us, Jophiel, Jophiel, female, who is the patron of artists, again coming up, saying the same thing. Relax, go outdoors, do things that make you happy, and artists. A call for artists. Again, all artists, all kinds of artists. There's a demand for them. There's a demand for artists. We need them. They help us. They're creative people who take us away, that help us maintain balance. Music is universal. I mean, music brings everybody together. So, the calling for artists. So this is the second card that came out that says artists are important, and all of you, every artist, every kind of artist, that even fashion designers, fashion, bring us some beautiful looks, beautiful jewelry. Anything that's creative under the sun is what we need more than anything. So this is the second time this card has come out. So it's pretty important. A second card that came out, Gabriel, female. Another female. So we got some feminine essence here, big time. Some feminine essence is needed here. There's an awful lot of masculine essence. It must be if you understand what feminine, masculine essence is think of it this way. A masculine essence is what drives us, our ambition, our determination, our will, our desire for action, our desire to do what is needed to be done, our passion, our direction. What is the feminine? The feminine pulls back. The feminine enjoys the beauty in life. Relaxes, loves all beauty, all things, art, music, the finer things, relaxes, and is in a beautiful place. And so you try to balance them. back and forth. Too much masculine is too much. And too much feminine is not enough. So you balance them. And that's what we're being asked to do, is we're asking to balance the male and the female essence. And in this case, Gabriel, who is the messenger, another female angel who I love, she's outside in my yard. I have a 7-foot archangel that lights up in my yard. And that is Gabriel. And she's been up for 1 year. And people in this community want her to stay up. Because, knock on wood, we've been very lucky here in Florida with weather. And may it continue, because I believe she is guiding us and helping us. Because when something hits Florida, we don't always know. There's not always a warning. Something can happen very quickly here. So she's here to help, and believe me, she's done a great job. So again, in this particular case, it's the same card that came up on the last reading. As you nurture a child, you nurture your own inner child. Both activities are important for you right now. Gabriel, the messenger. Asking you to nurture your inner child. And also nurture children. It's their time. It's their time. Christmas is their time. Every child is loved. Every child is given toys. Every child is excited about the spirit of Christmas and Santa Claus and all the magic that it brings. The presents, family, fun, arguments. Oh yeah, the whole thing is perfect. It's what it is. And it's special. And even if it's not Christmas and it's Hanukkah and you're celebrating differently, it's still family. It's still important. But children make it. And talk about bringing the child out in you. If there's anybody that can do it, it's children. Children bring that side out in you. They make you laugh. And they make everything so much fun. It's the things they come out with. You can't believe it. Some of them, you can't believe what they just said. You crack up, you laugh, they're funny, they're so excited. And you want to make it so special for them because it's all about them. But you also want to make it special for yourself and others. It's giving, giving, giving and receiving and happiness and love. It's a wonderful, wonderful time. So this card is nurturing babies, little babies, hugging them, kissing them, feeling their little bald head. I remember when my child was a baby, Tasha. The thing that I loved the most, which all I'm sure have experienced if you've been a mother or held a child, is that little bald head right here in the neck and the smell of the baby. It's just, you want to go to heaven right there. It's the most beautiful feeling in the whole world, that little baby life in you that's just right there nestled in your neck. It's the best feeling. And that is the nurturing of the baby, the little children babies, that anybody having babies, little newborns, toddlers, they want to be hugged and loved and kissed everywhere. They can't have enough love. You can't spoil a baby. I'm sorry, you can't spoil a baby. You can't spoil them. You can't do it. They need your love. So They need to listen to your heart too. Remember that the babies have to hear your heart. Once they hear your heart, they really feel close to you. Your smell and your heart. And if they're colicky, don't be afraid to put them on your knees, both knees. Put them on their stomach, pat their back, and go back and forth with them. The movement. Get the gas up. Don't be afraid to do that. It will help if they're colicky. But the babies, they see the lights. If they can start to see the lights, they're so excited. So this is a very special time. So this card is Gabriel. And she's asking all of us to put children first and to bring the child out in all of us. It's so important to let the child come out in us, because when that happens, we're happy. We're almost in the light. And it's a wonderful place to be. So that is what Gabriel is asking us to do. So she's coming forward and she's saying, okay, guys, be happy. Don't be miserable. Life is too short to be miserable. Be happy. Okay, and the last card, this is an incredible card. We did not get this one this time, and I'm glad we did. This is very important. This archangel is Jeremiah, spelt Jeremiel, Jeremiah or Jeremiel. It's said all different ways. I say it in Jeremiah. And look at this illustration. Remember I told you in the last reading that there are new archangels, and two of them were twin brothers that were mortal men. There's a third, the newest archangel. But these are twin brothers. The first one we got in the reading was Metatron. He dealt with indigo and crystal children, if you remember, that the children are very important, and that you as parents will be called upon, because you'll be given test results, you'll be given from teachers how your child is doing, reports, and you want to know how they're developing, and if there's any issues and problems, to be able to work with the teachers and the children so that nothing escapes, that their creativity is not to be ignored. This is special. So remember that if they're musically inclined, artistically inclined, in any form or manner, please make that important. And also special needs. Children are our future, and they are important. But in this respect, this is an angel, an archangel, Sandalphon, who delivers prayers from heaven to earth. That's what this represents. He delivers direct messages from heaven to earth. It's a beautiful card. It says, overcoming difficulties. Archangel Jeremiah, I'm sorry I said that. Jeremiah is not Sandalphon. Sandalphon does deliver prayers from heaven to earth. And the card is very similar to this. But this is Jeremiah, and Jeremiah is not. Jeremiah asks you to do life reviews. So I'm sorry for that. The worst is now behind you, and you are surmounting any previous challenges, overcoming difficulties. During a retrograde period, we are all asked to look within and to do a mini life review, to find out what isn't serving us, what isn't working, and how we can better ourselves. And in this respect, this archangel deals with life reviews and life challenges. And we all have them. So Jeremiah is coming into the mix now. And he wants you to understand that many of our problems that we have been facing are, well, let's put it this way. We're better off than we thought we were. In other words, we got all worried, all up in our heads, and said, we can't do this, we can't do that, I'll never make it, this, and then we're finding how we are. We're getting through it. Somehow, we don't know how we're doing it, but we are. We're getting through it. If it's financial, we're finding a way. So the worst is over, okay? The worst is over. And this is a positive card, because you can see that in the background, you see that he's overlooking the earth, and there's a golden, almost like rainbow. And what it means is, yes, we're going into a new era, and things are going to change. And overcoming difficulties, they'll still be there. But maybe we'll have a different attitude about them. Maybe we'll have a different approach. Maybe we'll have a different perspective. Maybe we'll gain some wisdom. Maybe we'll have an epiphany, a dream, a vision. Maybe something divine may happen, a miracle. Or even some type of manifestation may come to the surface, or out of nowhere, just happen. Maybe you'll get a call from someone you haven't heard from in a very long time that wants to come and see you and visit. And it's wonderful. You talk about old times, or maybe you're going to get a call because you put yourself out there and somebody saw your resume. You're going to get a job, a good job, a job you've wanted. There's going to be a shift. And here it says, the worst is over. That's assuring you from an archangel that if you think that you may have had some problems, it may not be that bad, because it looks like you're going to get through them. This is an affirmation. This is me saying to you that this archangel is confirming that many of us who thought it was the end of everything, that we're going down and that's it, we're not. We're stronger than you think. As a world, as a nation, as a people. And we need to do a life review and how our mistakes aren't made again, that we've learned by them, don't repeat them, and that we need to put out a helping hand and get involved in helping people less fortunate, even if it's $1. Whatever you can do to help to make the world a better place. What can we do as an individual, as a team, as a community, as a whole? How can we make this new era be a better life? It has all the components to bring us this new life. It's in a great sign. It's in a humanitarian sign. It's an unconditional love sign. a giving sign. It stands up for justice, unfairness, balance. It's all of those things. We have a chance. We have a chance. So hopefully my wish, my Christmas wish to all of you is that, number one, you're healthy. Your health. I wish you good health. Number two, happiness and joy. I wish that for all of you. Happiness and joy. Love. Love. Try to work on unconditional love with no conditions. Selfless love. And don't be afraid to open your heart. Because you've been hurt. Don't do it. Yes, there's a time where you'll close it. Yes, you may want it, but don't wait too long. You may miss something. You may miss your soulmate. So, I wish prosperity. I wish that all of you, in one way or another, get through the hard times, come together and live your best, authentic lives. Because if there was ever a time to do it, now is the time. Not just for Aquarians, but for all of humanity. It's here. What are you going to do with it? I love you. Have a wonderful holiday. And I'll see you after the holiday. Bye.